lot of fun last night. No sweat, no stress. Jalen Brunson, yeah, we call for it. Come out and show everybody that there's no doubt that you're not losing again in your own building, and you're going to go down with a fight, and you're going to play with pride from tip to buzzer. And not just Jalen, but yeah, no doubt the tone was set. And last night was a fun night. And, listen, where this goes, we'll obviously get into this as we get deeper into the show. How the hell do you not enjoy last night if you're a Knicks fan? I think most of us were fairly confident going into the game about last night. And that was finally rewarded. Like last time, we talked about this before the show. There's been a lot of good moments this run here, comebacks, etc. How many times have the Knicks, truly outside of the clincher against the Celtics, really looked like a team that were like, that's the team that we thought we were getting, where everybody was involved, they were playing better defense, their offense was a little different, and they just handled business from start to finish. It was fun.
I think Game 4 against the Celtics, Game 6 against the Celtics, Game 1 against Indiana outside the final 3 minutes, and then yesterday would be the best that you feel about this team. Here's why I wouldn't fully enjoy it. And I was there, and it was a great atmosphere, and it was fun. A, because I expected it. Like the bare minimum, the least the Knicks could do is win a singular game at home. Remember, they're still down 3-2 in a series where I believe they should be up in. But the maddening thing, remember, that was the word I used to describe them after watching Game 4. And to me, it's still the same after watching Game 5. It's maddening because what we saw last night, should happen more often than not. And yet, I'm not sure if we can trust that that's going to be the case. There were points that I thought, okay, after Game 6 against the Celtics, I'm thinking they're going to take off to another level. It's why I picked the Knicks to win this series in 5 games.
Everybody did.
And yet we didn't. Right, well, people were saying the Knicks were going to win, but not in 5.
Yeah, me too.
And then, so point is, I thought the Knicks were going to get to that next level. And then we don't. We see the inconsistencies right out of the gate, basically in Game 1. So that's why, to me, like, this is a series I can't get excited about. I'm happy about it. Certainly, it was refreshing to see that type of performance. I'm glad Brunson played a clean, efficient game. That's what we wanted. More outside of the point total, an efficient game led by their star. They played a clean, disciplined game for the most part. Defensive game. They scored buckets. So obviously, there's some things we can nitpick as we go along, but that's the type of effort that I think we need to see more often than not, and that's what makes me frustrated about it when the reality is they're still down 3-2.
They're still down 3-2, but as well as they played to start, and they didn't allow the Pacers, a little chip away there whenever they got it to 10 or 12, whatever. I think it was 12, midway through the fourth quarter. But it was a no-sweat game. Honestly, it's like you bet $150 on the Jets or the Giants. Well, you bet the other way with those teams, but on the Chiefs to cover, and the Chiefs are up 31-13 in the fourth quarter with 5 minutes to go. You're like, all right, you start counting, you feel good.
The rocking chair.
Oh, you just get to lean back. Is that what he would say? I don't remember him saying that.
The rocking chair game. Yeah, sit back and
kind of lean back a little bit and start counting the waves without sitting on the edge like, oh, come on. What do we get? I get it. So that's obviously very good. But en route to a rocking chair game, understand this. This, to me, is the ray of hope here, big picture for the series. They didn't play great. Like, if the Knicks shot 53% from downtown and 89% from the stripe, and they were, I don't know, I'm just throwing out numbers, plus 15 on the backboards and had a minuscule amount of turnovers, which, by the way, all of those things that I just mentioned, they did not. Then I would say, all right, it took an absolutely perfect game and maybe an element of indifference from the Pacers, right? Maybe, to stave off execution for the season. Well, they shot 28% from 3. They shot sub 70% from the free throw line, and they had 16 turnovers, which is a lot. So, can you clean things up? Yeah. Will the Pacers be better? Yes. Will Halliburton be more engaged? Yes. Understand this, man. We very easily could have come in today and presided over the 2024-2025 Knicks funeral. And we're not doing that. Yeah, so I'm happy with that.
But I don't think either of us felt like that was a reality. And then, which is why we didn't really dive into that yesterday. I heard Evan and Tiki talking a little bit about, would the season be a failure if they lose this game? Like, to me, it wasn't worthy of a conversation because I never felt like, and if you did, then we would have felt differently. If I felt,
I think that's an after the season conversation. That's what we're really waiting to happen for the most part.
Or if we felt there was a good chance they were going to lose the game. Neither of us felt that way yesterday, so we didn't get into that. And then being there, and well, you didn't have to be there, but being there or watching it on TV, the game was never really in doubt from the beginning. How many of those have we had? Mm-hmm. So it's not to me about, well, will the season be a success? Like, I expected them to win. You expected them to win last night. I would assume the majority of people expected them. They were not going out in 5 at home to the Pacers. Not saying they can't get beat in this series. Not saying they couldn't lose a Game 7 if they happen to win Game 6. They were not losing in 5 to this team. I still think that they're better than the Pacers. So it would have been catastrophic had they lost that game to Indiana last night. Remember yesterday that we also talked about like the Knicks needing to play their A game, or if the Knicks did play their A game.
Yeah.
I felt like if the Knicks play their A game for these final 3 games of this series, they're going to win the series because I think they're better than Indiana. And maybe even more so now because they didn't, to your point, play their A game yesterday. Good game, clean, crisp game, smart game for the most part, but it wasn't their best ever.
No.
They didn't shoot the lights out.
No, and that's why I've got some renewed confidence here. Again, big picture. Listen, it's a delicate balance here because you want to come on the air, and we're certainly celebrating the win, and you were there, and we were pumped up, and New York is alive, and the Knicks aren't dead yet. Now, there's the
huge, like everybody's going to be into the game tomorrow.
Oh, are you definitely coming over?
I am not.
You're not?
No. I made dinner plans for the anniversary.
During the Knicks game?
Yeah, well, it's 6 o'clock. We got, a little early dinner. Yeah.
Can you leave after dinner and come over?
It's not
like you're on your honeymoon. You go to dinner and come over. Yeah. I got it. We'll talk about that off the air. All right. Okay. Well, I get that. So that's a curveball. I'm going to have to come up with new plans now. I thought you would. I kind of thought you would come. Well, we talked about it.
Oh, man. I don't know. Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Okay. I got you. All right. So listen. Yesterday, right, we didn't talk about it much on the show, but to your point what you just said, but I did tweet this. I said, listen, guys, this is not a win of a season if they lose last night. You can't go 0-3 at the Garden during the Eastern Conference Finals when you're favored to every one of those games, favored to win the series. And oh, yeah, by the way, like you've had so many fortunate events come your way. Celtics gone, Cavaliers gone. A lot of things have changed here. So at the bare now, I will not allow one win to let's just push this forward a couple days. Yeah. Let's say they don't advance, right? Let's say they lose, whether it's in 6 or 7, whatever, and they don't win. One win last night will not change how I view the team in terms of wow, it went from a bad season possibly to no. I think they've got a lot of changes that they need to go through. But those are conversations for down the road. The Knicks, though, they needed to show up. I don't want to say that they needed to do it for us. They needed to do it for themselves. But damn it, there's a piece of me that wants to say, and I'm going to say, that they did need to do it for us.
More, though, there was...
Can't lose again at the Garden.
If they lost last night, more damage could have been done than more good with a win. If they lost that game, it would have been catastrophic. If they win the game, it's just, you did what you're supposed to. Now go show us what you're made of tomorrow night. I did get a little bit of a sense. I don't know if it was just Cat in the postgame. Not Brunson, certainly not Brunson, and not Hart. But I did feel like Cat had this sense of accomplishment when he was on the set with the guys from TNT. And I'm thinking like, dude, you're down. Again, I'm not trying to minimize the win, but dude, you're down 3-2. The Knicks still are behind the 8 ball in a series where they should be in front. They should be up 3-2. We should be talking about tomorrow could be the night where the Knicks get themselves back to the NBA Finals, and that is not the case. I'm not saying they can't do it. I still feel good about it. I felt good about the series before yesterday. But I don't think the Knicks should have, and I don't think that they do to a man, to all of them. I don't think the Knicks fans should have this over sense of accomplishment, celebrating in the streets because they won a game that they had to win. You had to win that game.
Listen, I can't relate to the. I don't want to say I can't relate, but I just don't think the same way that the young Knick fan thinks. Like, we do the reaction videos. If you guys saw them last night, I did one. Positive Tommy, of course, had to chime in. Sal was out there at the arena doing it as well. They got
Gio doing one, too.
Gio looked like he was half asleep, but give him props for doing it. Good job. Those guys have to get up. That's a tough juggle, and they're doing it well. So, yeah, I get it. And I do see some of the stuff on social media. I'm like, man, there are some younger Knick fans, I think, or some misguided, not just a youth thing, but either young or misguided or overconfident Knick fans who maybe are celebrating a bit too early. But I got to tell you, I honestly believe in totality, I think the Knick fans right now are grounded. I think that this has been a reality check. Last night was definitely awesome. Hopefully Saturday will be awesome, and hopefully Monday will be more awesome, and then next week will be incredibly, almost all-time awesome for the station as we get ready for the NBA Finals. I don't think Knick fans think they have anything in the bag. I think the Knick fans who truly had been through the rigors emotionally and mentally, not to mention monetarily, of this train wreck of a century, I think most of us understand, all right, we didn't get the lethal injection last night, but there's a lot A lot of work to be done, and you know the Pacers are coming hard Saturday.
BT and Sal on the Fan. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Vinny's on Long Island starting us off. What's up, Vin?
What's going on, boys? Big win last night, baby. Way to go, Knicks.
All right.
So listen, this is what I'm thinking. So, I'm not naive. I know obviously tomorrow's going to be extremely difficult. If they could find a way to put another game like they did last night together, maybe step it up a bit, unbelievable. I think if they could rip their heart out tomorrow, they can get to Game 7. I think the series would be ours, and then we move on. Couple of quick points. Cat's got to clean up these stupid fouls, man, because if he can clean that up and stay on the court, they cannot handle him down front in the paint. That's point number one. Point number two, still a little sloppy with the freaking turnovers, man. 15,
Yep.
And Josh Hart, I don't know. Josh Hart, he said he was okay with going to the bench, and I like him on the bench, but maybe his adjustment from not being in the game at the beginning is having an effect on his sloppiness.
Yep.
I don't know. And one more point I would make. The other night when Halliburton was speaking, when they first made the change, when they were putting all these guys in off the bench that you haven't seen in forever, he made a point to say something along the lines of they got thrown off. They need to throw them off tomorrow again, too. I don't know if Tibbs would ever do it. I would love to see McBride in the starting lineup and get in his face all night long and throw him off again. I don't think he'll ever do it, but they got to stay on them like they did yesterday. If they can do that, we will win again in the Garden, and we will blow them out of the water.
I'll tell you what, good call. And you threw a lot of things at us there. Like if we're in Indiana, or let's say that the Knicks were up 3-1 and Jalen Brunson was as disengaged as Halliburton was last night, he'd be getting skewered on the radio right now. That's their problem. That's not an us problem. That's them. Let them figure it out. Now, number one, the three things he threw out, the cat fouls, short and sweet. It's never going to change because he's slow and he reaches and he's constantly out of position. He's always going to have fouls. Number two, the turnovers by Josh Hart. Sal, I don't understand this. And it's almost like he's in between. Do I go to the rim and shoot? Do I pass to the corner for a three? The amount of, and he's not alone. Brunson had a bunch the previous game as well. The inability to protect the ball. Listen, you got to cough it up here and there, but they're coughing it up when they're actually in a position to get a layup. Right. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of layups, Obi Toppin can't hit one from Obi Toppin. OG Anunoby can't hit one from underneath, can't hit a three either.
Yeah.
I would not be overly concerned about Josh Hart. Turnovers are going to happen. You want to minimize them. They were better in Game 5 than they were in Game 4, and maybe it is something to him not being in the starting lineup. Now, there are no excuses, but maybe just trying to get the feel of the game, or maybe second-guessing himself, maybe feeling a little bit of pressure when you start to get in a little bit of a rut, turn the ball over, then it could start creeping in your mind, and now you're thinking instead of just going out there and playing. But for the majority of the season where Josh Hart is on the ball, he is a facilitator with this team that I trust. I don't look at him as being sloppy. As a matter of fact, I feel like Jalen Brunson more times has been sloppy with the basketball than Hart. I don't know if the numbers back that up or not, just going based off of my mind's eye. I'm not worried about Josh Hart here, and I said it yesterday, I would have gone back to him in the starting lineup. They're probably not going to do that now.
Yeah. Once
they made that change starting with Mitch, it's not going to. I wouldn't think they're going to go back to it now, especially after winning yesterday. But I personally would go back to Josh Hart in the starting lineup.
Well, I mean, Van Gundy, you were obviously at the game, so you didn't hear the commentary last night. The Van Gundy kept saying, and he's right, we all know this as Knicks fans, you watch the Knicks here, where Josh Hart's at his best getting downhill, going coast to coast, and he truly is one of the better finishers in the game. Now, I think in an unconventional way, like when I think finisher, I think a guy on like James Worthy. I think a guy on the break, just catching it and rising up and flushing. That's not really Josh Hart, but he's got strong shoulders and he's got great body control and he's got great instincts. But for whatever reason, now, we got to also tip your cap to the Pacers. They're not letting the Knicks do this, get downhill in open space where they've got 50, 60 feet in front of them where they got numbers. Knicks don't do that. Now, Pacers do that to the Knicks. The Knicks really don't do that to the Pacers. This is going to be interesting. The one thing that I did see, right, is, and I give Tom Thibodeau credit here, okay? There was at least an identifiable adjustment, and it started from the opening tip. And I can't tell you, we're all frustrated this series watching Jalen Brunson inbound, take the ball up, get shouldered, get picked, get hit, get harassed, no fouls either way. Somebody's in his grill from the time he gets the ball. The first 3 or 4 possessions, he started off the basketball, which freed him up untouched. And guess what? He scored 4 buckets in a row.
Yeah, and playing clean basketball from then there on out. And also played played, you could see the defensive intensity turned up from Brunson and playing clean there. What do you have, just one foul?
One or two. He didn't have many.
Did he have personal fouls. Right. So the fact that he can play that type of defense and do it cleanly, to me, was encouraging. Not that I expected him to be some shutdown defender, but you can see it. Jalen Brunson clearly went into that game determined. He was disciplined. It's not that he hasn't had big games before. Obviously, we know that. But the efficiency in which he played with, the discipline in which he played with, each possession, respecting each possession offensively and defensively, that to me was the thing that stood out the most last night. Adam is in South Jersey. What's up, Adam?
Good morning, guys. I'm tired. I'm feeling good. And, we're one win away from doing something we haven't done in a long time, which is play basketball in June, guys. Unbelievable. So all the old Knicks fans, remember those days where we expected June? Well, we might finally be back in June. What was really encouraging last night in the beginning of the game was the defensive intensity. I've been waiting for that. Did you guys notice that they got Halliburton out of his game because they were picking up at half court last night? They weren't letting him get set up. They weren't letting him just kind of run around up to the three-point line and letting Indiana run circles around him. The intensity was great. Mitch was big. And, my mind tells me, I don't know about tomorrow, but I just got a feeling they're going to win that game and come back to the Garden. And the pressure's on Indy now. If you don't win at home, you're coming to New York to lose. And I hope they understand that. Go New York, go New York, go. Love you guys. Let's go get that win.
Thanks, Adam.
Good job, buddy. I hope they don't understand it. Yeah. I want them to undersell the moment. That's advantage us.
Yeah, I mean, look, we could get into that when we come back, maybe spin it forward a little bit. As for last night, BT, I think it was expected. Like, the Knicks were supposed to do this. And it should be you could argue that they should be up 3-2. So that's why I wouldn't go nuts about last night. And I would look to say, okay, well, now can the Knicks make up for the horrific loss in Game 1? The way to make up for that is that we're going to have to win 2 games on the road. They got 1 in Game 3, couldn't do it in Game 4. They're going to have to win 1 in Game 6, and then you got to like their chances coming back here. But look, they played well last night. You expected that to happen. Can that be sustained for tomorrow night's game in Game 6?
My honest answer is I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's my honest answer. I hope there's some evidence rooted in what has already happened that tells me no. And there's some things that I saw last night where I'm like, I haven't kind of seen this energy or this tenacity from this group. Yeah. So maybe that's a renewed purpose or an awakening from within. And if it's that, well, then the answer is yes. If it was an outlier, then they're done.
Right. If it's a one-off, then they're going to get blown out. All right, BT and Sal on the fan. We'll come back, further that conversation as well. Anything from last night that we think can change the feel or be sustainable moving forward. 888-808-1019.